Hey, everybody. Welcome to Ron Line Report. Today's guest I've known about for a few years. He is what I honestly feel is the greatest amateur bodybuilder in the world right now. Please welcome Elliott Dermond. How are you, Elliott?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So I think you were first on Giles Thomas's show, MD Global Muscle. I want to say 2022. At the time you were getting ready for nationals. So I want to get this out of the way. You're unfortunately right now you're known for withdrawing from the nationals 3 years in a row with health issues every time. As soon as you turn pro and start doing well, people are going to forget about all that. People have short memories in this industry. But right now, I mean, that was a big story last November when you pulled out. So the most recent nationals, what happened? Because I got footage of you winning your qualifier on your Instagram here. You were looking phenomenal. So just walk me through the timeline, because how many weeks out was this qualifier? Let me put it on screen.
Yeah, the qualifier was, I believe, 4 weeks out from nationals. It was pretty close to where I am in Florida, so it worked out really well in terms of convenience and practicality. But yeah, wasn't able to make it to the nationals due to essentially rhabdomyolysis, and then I discovered blood clots in my lungs and heart when I checked myself into the ER.
Geez, so rhabdo, and was that the third time you'd had rhabdo? I can't remember what you said.
Yep. So yeah, first time having rhabdo was 2022. I was actually in an accident, an injury occurred, and that is what the doctors believe triggered my rhabdo in 2022. And so when you have it one time, you're more susceptible to have it again.
Yeah,
I learned. And so in 2023, I had probably the worst rhabdo case I've ever had. And it was from something as simple as being in the zoo, getting about 20,000 steps, just putting too much strain on my body, and heat was the main factor there. And it caused me to go to the hospital. And then this year it was weird because I would have still competed with just rhabdo, but with the heart and the lung clots. That's what kept me out of the show. That was my decision.
Yeah. So for people that don't know what rhabdo is, I just have a very, very basic understanding. It's basically extensive kidney damage from too much muscle breakdown and waste products getting into your bloodstream. Is that right?
Yeah, that's essentially it. The myoglobin becomes toxic, and the kidneys can never filter out enough of the creatinine kinase. And so that's why some people's urine turns dark, but it becomes very deadly. Personally speaking, I just lost a friend to rhabdo, which I didn't even know they had it, but they quickly were moved to dialysis and did not make it.
Oh my God, I've never heard. I've known a lot of people who've had rhabdo because my wife was into CrossFit for many years. I've never heard of it being fatal. That's awful.
Yeah, Google says it's a 50-50 fatality. I don't know how accurate that is. That number gets thrown around a lot when people try to, get more clicks on the topic. But that really opened my eyes to how dangerous it could be. Luckily, this year was very, very mild. My creatinine kinase only got to 1,700. Yeah. There are people that I know that have gotten to 80,000.
Wow. Yeah, so there's Google says 50% of people with rhabdo don't survive.
If you punch that rate, rhabdomyolysis fatality rate, punch it in right now, you'll say It'll be a coin flip.
I mean, because I remember at least 5 or 6 people that went to my wife's CrossFit gyms over the years that had it. Obviously, they didn't die. Dana Lynn Bailey had rhabdo a few years back because she tried CrossFit. I mean, CrossFit's, I think, the biggest cause of rhabdo for a lot of people.
Yes.
Crazy, muscle. The muscles are put under way more stress than they're used to. It's rare that bodybuilders get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were very, very transparent as far as why you think it happened, because immediately people they try to throw your coach under the bus, saying his coach must have had him on all this crap. This coach needs to be put in jail, blah, blah. And you did come out and state it wasn't your coach's fault. You were doing more in terms of PEDs than what your coach said to do or advised you to do, correct?
Yeah. And I like how you said PEDs because it wasn't anabolics. It wasn't steroids. The cycle was very mild. It was the ancillaries that I did. Just certain compounds like ephedrine, I'd go to CVS. I believe the stimulants were the big thing causing that dehydration factor. Getting ephedrine, caffeine abuse, doing twice as much cardio. I could probably go on and on. It was just the one thing I followed was the anabolics, which is, surprisingly.
So, I mean, I'm taking a wild guess. Was it peptides, SARMs, things like that you were using excessively on top of the anabolics?
No, it wouldn't be classified as a SARM. I've never used SARMs. I'm a big fan of peptides. Growth hormone's considered a peptide, so yeah. I don't want to speak badly about peptides. But I think it was certain abuse of like methylene blue, or I don't even know what that drug is categorized under. Methylene blue, ephedrine. I feel like those are the two main things. Unfortunately, I'll never know 100%, right?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously this was the third time in a row. So a lot of people came down very hard on you, Elliott. You know this, you saw the comments, and to your credit, you didn't disable comments in any of your posts, because that's what a lot of guys do. It's because I don't want to hear the trolls, and I don't want to hear people saying this guy's a moron. What's he doing to himself? So you took it like a champ, and you took the heat for it, which another thing I commend you for. But yeah, I mean, after the first nationals you had to back out of, and I know you're still young. You just said you just turned 27, so young in bodybuilding these days. But after the second time it happened, I would have thought maybe Elliott would be super cautious about what he does, because you've missed 2 years that you could have been up on the pro stage, and this is a third year you could have been up on the pro stage. So were there any, people want to know, did you not learn your lesson, or were there not lessons to be learned, or what? Just help me out on this particular question.
Sure. I think the first 2 times getting the rhabdo and knocking me out of the show were things that were out of my control. So I was able to forgive myself a little easier. So I don't think it was a true lesson learned yet. I think, me causing it and facing the reality that I, pushed a little too hard is going to stick with me in the future and really teach me to, control myself, listen to those in my corner who have my best interest in mind and everything. I got a really good team around me right now. We're growing really well. I'm excited for the year competitively. I'm already qualified, so I don't need to do any more qualifiers. We're just going to hop into a pro qualifier, hopefully coming up this year, and really take it to put this stuff behind me and take it to a level never seen before for me.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to crap on people that have turned pro and haven't accomplished anything, or that I don't think meet the standard some of us old heads have for what constitutes a pro, what they should look like. But, you look like a pro. I've seen a lot of guys turn pro, and I'm like, oh no, they're going to need like 2-3 years to grow before they're even ready to think about getting into on a pro stage. But in terms of mass, I think you were there a couple of years ago. Have you been continuing to add mass these past 3 years?
Oh yeah. This is my best off season. I'm really excited. I've been pretty much training again since the beginning of January, and I've ballooned up to, I closed in on 280 pretty fast. I'm hoping to get to 300 before we come down.
Wow.
So my body, like, just taking December off and resting, it was the best thing I could have done. My blood work and all my scans are, excellent. My ectocardiogram. If you follow me on Instagram, I post my blood work all the time because I work with a lot of HRT clinics and companies like that too. So I'm really transparent, and everything is healthy and everything is looking good. So I'm excited.
So quick question for 280, good Lord. How tall are you?
I'm just under 5'10", so I'm 5'9.5".
Okay.
Everyone thinks I'll be like a 212 guy because I guess I look really short. But, if you meet me, I'm like normal height, I guess.
Well, that's above normal. I mean, I think the average American is 5'9" or something now, adult male. So you're actually above average. But yeah, you know what? I think it's because you're so thick that if I saw pictures of you and didn't know how tall you are, I would have guessed like 5'6", 5'7". I would have guessed like 5'7", 250 or 260. But now we know you're a much larger human being than that.
Yeah, it's a compliment. So, I like the short comments. I get to dwarf a lot, and I'm like, all right, thank you.
Wow. See, I'm a little under 5'8", so I don't like that D word. We don't like the M word, or we don't like the D word. We prefer to be called little people. That's what we can call it.
I'm not far off.
So it's a good thing you mentioned the blood work, because I saw so many comments. I did a video. Everyone did a video when you pulled out of the Nationals. And the comments were, a lot of them to the effect of, this guy should hang it up. This isn't, clearly his body's telling him, this is not for you. And the fact that you're getting your heart scans and everything, that makes me feel better, because blood work never tells the whole story. The heart is where most of us meatheads get in trouble as time goes by. The kidneys and the heart are the two main areas. So you're getting your heart scans, everything looks good, and your doctor's happy with how everything's looking.
Yeah, immediately getting out of the hospital, I got the kidney ultrasound, the liver ultrasound, the echocardiogram. Getting the injection fraction and things like that were really important to me. And I think not abusing the anabolic side of things really helped in terms of my organs, because on paper, my cystatin C with EGFR is excellent. My GGT is excellent. All those, inflammatory markers are excellent. And then my scans came back really good. I had the most normal amount. My doctor wasn't concerned of LVH, left ventricle hypertrophy, which is really common in just people that work out, athletes. For my age range and size, I was, very normal percentile. So that was really nice to find out. And, I posted all that on my page too. So all the followers know it's not just, me talking. I'm backing up what I'm saying. And I do think everyone should get those scans done, the calcium score, all that stuff.
100%. Yeah. Are those only in your stories, or are they also on the page itself so people can find them?
I posted them in my stories, and then if people subscribe to my page, I post stuff like that daily.
Gotcha. I should leave this up. The Instagram guys, if you don't follow them already, get on the train. Where's my banners? There we go. At Elliott Dermond, 2 L's and 2 T's.
Yes.
That's how you can remember it. Cool.
The Alpha Elliott spelling.
So the Alpha Elliott. So yeah, I've been getting a little upset lately at some of these podcasts where guys go on. I'm not going to name names, but they throw these outrageous doses out there. Like, this is what you need to use if you want to turn pro, or if you want to compete as a pro. And I'm not going to ask you to divulge exactly what you may or may not use, but give me an idea of a reasonable amount that someone who's pro caliber might use that's not death levels. I mean, not 10 grams of this and 20 IUs of that.
Sure. I stand behind a synergistic approach, so no abusing one side of things. I think, to give you just a number, because people love numbers.
Yes.
I'd say an off-season growth phase, because prep is, the numbers are so small in prep. Yeah. I think, a gram of test and 500 to a gram of Mastron, for me, works really well with 8 to 12 units of Serostim, and pretty much avoid AI usage for your lipid profile. And then if I use insulin, it'll be like Humalog sparingly, a couple days a week.
Okay. So I'm not hearing like 2 grams of tren a week. I'm not hearing 20 IUs of growth a day.
No.
And people will say either you're lying to sound like you don't use much, or you're trying to gatekeep all the gains for yourself so nobody else can reach your level. Trust me, I see all these comments. I'm just like, maybe I'm just old and I have no patience for it, but I almost puke on my screen sometimes when I read stuff like that. But you've found that more isn't better. Is there anything? I want you to speak directly to the guys your age, because they don't listen to me. I'm too old, Elliott. What can you tell them?
Yeah, I think that there are so many ways to go about this safely with all we have available to us. In terms of, you can run your own blood work for under, $100 these days at all these clinics you see on Instagram. Um, I think hiring a coach and listening to that coach who's trusted in the industry with a good reputation is number one. But these, like you said, these attention grabbing numbers are not what gets the job done. Like I don't think I've ever run over 2.5 grams of gear, and people don't understand that you got to put it somewhere. Like you run out of spots.
Yes.
Injecting sucks. Like no one unless you're a psychopath, but no one really wants to do that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're single, you have like 4 spots to put things total. Like your buddy's not going to help you all the time, and
Right.
yeah, just hire someone you trust. Do a lot of your own research, but don't have too many cooks in the kitchen, and
Mhm.
just recognize it's going to take time and be patient.
Yeah, it's a funny thing you mentioned that because sometimes when I see guys with their shoulders obviously have stuff in them, but I don't think the majority of guys are using SEOs or anything. It's just where are you going to put all that damn gear?
Yeah,
Like you said, I'm on TRT now after blasting for years, and my shoulders and my ass are just masses of scar tissue where like you stick the needle in and the oil won't even go in because it's just pure scar tissue. She does my lats, but I can't do that. I can't fucking reach my lats for God's sake.
yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah.
all right. So, yeah. So, what have you been working on physique wise? Because you've had all these unfortunate times where you were so close to getting to the pro qualifier but didn't make it. But that's given you more time to improve on. So, overall mass clearly not a problem. What areas have you been really focusing on?
My back width, my posing, and my bicep peaks would be 3 areas I think I can improve on the most. I have pretty solid spinal erectors, but I really need more teres, rhomboids, middle back, all that good stuff to be competitive on a pro level. I think it's solid for an amateur level, but there's a lot more back mass that's needed. And then posing, I'm working with a really good behind the scenes coach right now for posing, and my bicep peaks. All you can really do is curl. We might explore the SEO route, but I've never done it, and I don't think I could ever like put something in there. Like look at my arm and smack something in there. So most likely it'll just be time.
Yeah, I mean, the pain. I tried pinning in my bicep once. Oh my God, it was like somebody stabbed me with a butcher knife. It was the worst. So I said, screw this. I'll stick with my crappy arms. But yeah, I have a pretty good eye for physiques. I've been doing this a long time. I'd say from the back, you need to look. You look like a much bigger guy from the front than you do from the back.
Mhm.
So when your back matches your front, I don't think too many people are going to be beating you. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I have to ask: has it been tough? Every nationals that you've missed, you must clearly watch the coverage of it right after that. I don't know if you get the pay-per-view, but I'm sure you look at the pictures. And what are you thinking when you see you'd be a super, I'm assuming, obviously, right? You'd be way over 225.
Mhm.
So I'm guessing you see people that you would have beaten every time, correct?
I really hate to speculate.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have clients on the show 3 years in a row, so I've been there in person. Um,
Okay.
and the Texas venue is awesome. Like shout out to them for putting on such a great show in Irving, Texas. But yeah, I got to be confident myself. I feel like my qualifier physique would have won the show.
Hmm.
Personally, you would. Again, that's no shade at anyone, and you got all that matters is show day. It doesn't matter on Instagram. So
Yeah.
I would hate to speculate, but I'd have to choose myself over anyone the last 3 years, honestly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I always say this isn't a team sport, Elliot. There's only one guy that's got his hand raised in victory at the end. So if you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe you're going to win, how are you going to even put all the time and energy and dedication into the prep 100% like you need to? It's not like, shucks, I hope I do okay. Who's going to? The only people that want to hear that are the people that they hate seeing other people succeed.
Yeah.
Here, see, look at this. You didn't even delete this comment on your own 8 weeks ago. Dude's a beast, but geez, that has to be in the 4 to 5 gram per week range, which will eventually shut the body down. So, yeah. And this is 19 years old on the left.
That's 16.
16. Good Lord.
Yeah, 16 or 17,
Okay.
and then 25.
Yeah. So when did you really start just blowing up? Because I go to a gym with a lot of young guys and they don't really change much. Was there a period like a certain age range, like 22 to 24, something that was your best years of gains?
Yeah, for sure. When I started taking things seriously in 2021 and hiring a coach, that was when I exploded. I played football in college at Florida State, and so I didn't really live a bodybuilding. You're waking up at 4:30 in the morning to go work out on an empty stomach. That's not really conducive to the lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a very high stress, high pressure lifestyle with college too. So once I finished my undergrad and I was in grad school, I really took a liking to the gym aspect of training and switched over and started competitively at about 22 years old.
Yeah. Now, obviously we don't cry over spilt milk, but do you feel like you've lost any time where you could have already been in the pros, or were you one of those guys that would have taken a year or two off before you started competing as a pro?
No, I would have just hopped right into it. Honestly, I'm hoping to do a couple pro shows this year, to be fully transparent, because I want to just win it and just I'll do as many shows as I can this year.
Perfect. Love to hear that. So when was that? That's an old. Is this?
I was 24.
Okay, that's an old one, but the new stuff looks pretty damn lean. Where do I get them? Come on, X work X. So this update was just you posted this 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, that's current.
So condition, is this your normal off-season condition, or are you in prep?
That's normal off-season condition.
Wow. Okay. Is that you eat super clean, or your body just stays lean? Because that is crazy good condition for a deep dark off-season.
I think it's coming off of how lean I got, prepping for nationals. And then I do 30 minutes of cardio every day for my own, heart health. I think growth hormone contributes a lot to a lean off season. Ever since I started using that, I've never been above like 12% body fat, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I had to stop using it financially, but I'm going to start up again. That was the best thing for me. I stayed so lean, veins and everything, crazy good. But I'm all over the place today. So are you keeping the show a secret, or is it okay to say when we will see you on a qualifier?
No, I mean, there's really only 3 shows to do, so I don't even think it's much of a secret. I'll do either USAs or North Americans. On a personal note, I just bought my first home.
Oh, congrats.
So thank you very much. So the moving process, as every bodybuilder knows, is hell. Like you're going to miss at least a week of like training and meals. Yeah. So I'm going to, if I can go and do Vegas, that would be awesome. I really didn't want to go all the way to I live in Florida, so I didn't want to fly to California last year for USAs. Yeah. But now it's back in Vegas, and that would be the target show.
Okay. I mean, you also have Arnold amateurs, Olympia amateurs, all that. Just to throw them out there, they do exist.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you moving right now? Because moving's like my worst nightmare.
It is. If I lower the camera anymore, everything's in boxes and it looks like crap. So the camera is strategically positioned.
You're still young and you bounce back from an injury, but I strongly advise you to hire movers and not try to do a damn thing on your own.
Oh yeah, already taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Because I hope people don't ask you to help them move all the time.
No, luckily, they know it's for show. It's not for function.
Yeah, it's just a risk because, I think every meathead out there who has either moved himself or helped, you probably got hurt moving because, we're not strongmen. We don't lift weird. You're not supposed to lift like a 500-pound mattress around a corner and up this weird staircase and try to, it's ways our bodies are just not used to moving against resistance.
Yeah.
So the gym, you're in full control and you're moving so not. But I applaud you, man. This is because home ownership in the USA, we know it's it's out of reach for most people, most young guys. You're millennial. Are you millennial? Yeah, or are you Gen Z? No, you're millennial.
Gen Z, I think.
Are you Gen Z? No, I think you might be. I think my son is the oldest Gen Z, and he's 25. I don't know. It's now they got the beta generation or alpha beta or some crap. But
I've been identifying as Z, so I might be wrong.
Yeah. Just about the coaching. I know you're a really good coach. I've seen the before and afters with your clients and stuff. Do you find it, easier to coach people while you're in prep because it keeps you distracted, or is it tougher as you're coming down in calories and doing all that cardio and fatigue can set in?
Great question. I think it's easier to coach in prep. The passion for bodybuilding for me is never higher. Knowing that deadline's on the board. I also have so little of a filter on prep. So when people, they mess around a little bit, they really hear about it. So I objectively am a better coach in prep.
Yeah. I mean, I like the guys who are tough on their guys and girls who are tough on their clients because, pussyfooting around and coddling them, it's not going to do these people any favors, especially you coach competitors too, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's about 90% of my client base.
Yeah. So you can always, when someone shows up out of shape and they had a coach, I'm like, this coach was either they didn't listen to their coach or they were just too damn nice. And being nice doesn't help anybody. So USA, I mean, what do you, as far as the show, when are you gonna decide? You still have Dom. Is Dom still your coach, Cardone?
Nope. Dom and I are no longer working together. We're great friends. It's an awesome relationship. I got a really good team right now. They asked not to be mentioned, so it'll be. We want it. Before we just announce anything, we want to make sure our show date is in stone before I don't want to build a hype train and then something happens. So just keeping that low key for now. But yeah, Dom and I are friends. We'll always be friends. We just mutually parted ways.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, people. Yeah, I have no issues with people going for you're not obligated to stay with one coach forever for any reason. But man, it's so I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. So if you guys need to follow Elliott to see when he's going to announce his show and who his coach is, and to your coach's credit, man, they're not riding your coattails, but most coaches will immediately say, "Look who I'm coaching. Look at me. I'm the best coach because look at this guy. He looks so great." So.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's a really good point. I mean, he's really well known, so it won't be like a shock or anything. But he's a good dude.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you're a coach's dream because you have everything already. You have what does he really need to work on? The condition. You're this lean. At could be 20 weeks out from your next show for all we know, or 30 weeks out. We have no idea because you haven't told us. But you're someone who stays very, very lean. That's going to make his job a lot easier, or her job. Might be a girl coach, guys. We don't know. It's not assuming anything, right?
It's male.
Well, I mean, 90% of coaches are guys. But so yeah, I mean, I really mean it when I say I think you're the best amateur. I follow probably like 10,000 people on Instagram or more, and I don't see any amateurs out there who are more ready to get on that pro stage and do some damage as you. So, it's I'd say long overdue, but you're still such a young guy. It's not like you're 45 years old and you're, the clock is ticking. So I'm really, really looking forward to see what you got for us this year, Elliott.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not putting any pressure on myself, and I'm just going to do what I'm told, and good things will happen.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, being coachable is very important, as you know, as a coach. Yeah. I mean, how many times have you as a coach, occasionally you must have someone who just it's not working, they're not listening.
Yeah. That's one of the things of coaching that doesn't get talked about enough is calling your clients out. A lot of coaches are really passive aggressive, and it's hard because you're really taking a risk because they're never going to come out and say they had Domino's and ice cream every night. You got to just be like you got to confront them about it. So making sure it's upfront is important.
Yeah. Have you ever busted a client due to a social media post where they show like a table full of disgusting triple bacon cheeseburgers and curly cheese fries piled up 3 feet high?
No, I always catch them in their stories though, or excuse me, their girlfriend's stories. That's like the number one, self tattle.
Yeah, I mean, they should know the girls post a lot more than guys do, generally speaking, social
Hmm.
media. But
Yeah.
congrats on the new house, the coaching success. I'm glad your health is in check and everything's looking really good. And physique wise, you're right on track. I really hope 2025, Elliott, is the year we see you not only turn pro, but get up on that pro stage and start doing the business of bodybuilding the way you could have been doing a couple of years ago. But no time like the present. Let's see what 2025 has for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. You've always been a name I've followed in the industry and someone I look up to. So I appreciate that a lot.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching Ron Line Report. Follow Elliott on his Instagram at Elliott Dermond. I think you also have a YouTube channel, the same name, just Elliott Dermond.
Yep. You'll find me there.
So check them out there. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We will see you